They trying to do everything that they can to destroy and diminish Kyrie Irving. Can't make any. You can't make anybody happy. You can't please anybody. Okay. Um. I know some people are gonna be like, "Well, Kyrie Irving, well, he brought it on himself," and da 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 da. Man, to me, this is a bunch of bullshit. You know. Um. They're finding a man for pretty much voicing his, opinion. And the thing about it is that the fan heckled him. You know, Kyrie Irving has been fined 25,000 for directing an obscene gesture towards a fan. Okay, we all know what took place with Cleveland and everything, and then he followed up and he said basically, that they were ungrateful for him getting a championship, which rightfully so. He you gotta feel that way if you are Kyrie Irving. And look, the only reason I feel like they really messing with Kyrie, some people may disagree. That's fine with me. I don't really care. Is the is because he's had to take in the jab against the boogeyman and stuff, and he said that he will continue not to. All this is just a big ass distraction uh, for what it is that for whatever goal that the respective players are trying to reach. Uh, you could talk about Kyrie Irving, James Harden, or even Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets as a whole. True Viking Queen, you said salute King, sad but true. I wish the NBA held everybody accountable like they do Kyrie, but nobody want to talk about that, huh? And that's a good ass point, you know. And that's some people that don't rock with Kyrie on that, man. Look, I understand why some people don't rock with Kyrie on the way that he feels. It's just like with some people that don't rock with with Kaepernick in the way that he felt, you know. But either way, you have to look. We have to look deeper into what's really taking place here. I mean, you have a guy right here who pretty much was willing to risk it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, in terms of an NBA season and not playing or anything, and he didn't come crawling back or anything like that. Hey, he stood on his. But then you have people that are fanatics that will say anything to try to psychologically make Kyrie feel like the bad person. Like for instance, they'll say, "Well, if you were playing Kyrie, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through," and making little silly comments like that or something. All of this is pretty much done to try to diminish what Kyrie has done. That Kyrie is not a very liked person by the media. He's not a very well, I'm not gonna say not a very liked person, but some people, because you see things a particular way, some people are gonna feel indifferent about you. Why they might respect you on the basketball court and everything, think you're phenomenal and everything, because you think a certain way, they wanna They want to try to hold you accountable for the way that you feel. And me myself personally, I just think that they're doing it just to try to destroy him to I mean, pretty much let's just call it what it is, to destroy his legacy. I think like when it's all said and done, this is what might take place with Kyrie. They might honor him as a great basketball player and everything, but it might be like the whole Kareem thing. When it comes to Kareem, a lot of people don't know about Kareem, but he stood his ground and everything. I don't need to get into all of that, but he stood on principles, and wanted to help implement a change during that time, and did not want to really deal with the media like that and everything. You see the example with that with Skip Bayless and everything, and you see very a lot of people, they'll talk about Kareem, but not like how they talk about Jordan, or not like how they talk about other superstars and things of that nature. And I believe that that's what they're trying to do with Kyrie. I believe that, and some people may feel, okay, well, he should have just played the game and should have just did what he was supposed to do. Well, let me ask you this though, okay? Now that they're coming with the the guidelines now, for federal employees, that they cannot claim religious exemption. What do you think that's going to bring? You understand what I'm saying? Because now it's like, okay, well, you either take it or you got to roll. And some of these people have been on these federal jobs. We're talking about a federal job, which means not just the money aspect, because some of the federal jobs, that in terms of money, they should be making more. But we're talking about from a beneficial standpoint, and benefits and pension, things of that nature. But that's a whole nother story. But the reason why I bring that up is because all of this, a lot of this is just a form of control and psychology. They want Kyrie to be who they want him to be. They don't want Kyrie to stand on his own 2 feet. They don't want that person to, if they're flying right, what I'm saying, he gonna fly left or whatever, being doing what the media wants him to do, or doing what people want him to do. And they feel like it's bad for business. It's messing up what they got going on. It's messing up their agenda, so to speak. And I respect Kyrie for what he's doing. Now that's a whole nother scenario. But in light of this situation right here, when it comes to the fans and, people saying what they want to and stuff like that, some of the things that people say and do at these NBA games, NFL games, things of that nature, man. Some of y'all wouldn't even be able to tolerate it, much like, okay, let's take it back to when Kyrie played at Boston, okay? Because almost had a bottle hit him. That this was during the time when Russell Westbrook was having popcorn, thrown on him, and it was just every other week it was something else. It seemed like. But see, y'all don't know. I've been heckled before, and on a smaller scale, in terms of when I was playing and everything. And man, let me tell you, man, these people don't hold back. They don't hold back nothing, man. They think that you are like a machine, right? and that machine is just going to not pay attention or do anything or be rocked by what you say, or which to some degree you might be able to. Some guys are very strong minded and everything, can pretty much take anything, but man, saying stuff like what the lady, what the the Karen said to LeBron James about his family, or his sons and stuff like that, bringing the family into it. So that's taking it to a whole nother level. And I'm not saying that with the fan, that's what the fan did at Cleveland, but the thing about it is we have to understand, you weren't there, I weren't there. We're just going by what was said, but who who knows what else Kyrie has probably had to endure. Who knows what else any of these other NBA players have to endure. Listen, you draw a line. I know that Russell Westbrook. Sometimes he lets things get to him and stuff like that. But how can you blame some of the stuff that Russell Westbrook does, because he has to put up with a lot of that shit on a daily basis. Just like with the one fat guy that was trying to antagonize him, and he just pointed at him and everything. I saw that game. You know, he actually didn't do anything. He just pointed at him. But you don't know. Probably he had been enduring all these other, criticisms, stuff like that. And I'm gonna talk about Russell Westbrook a little bit later and everything. But these NBA players, some of these people, they pour drinks on them. They say, they talk about their family members. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys are lunatics, and how can I say it? They are uh, psychopaths to the point where they have their pictures everywhere on their wall, or and they just focus on that particular player and everything, and they become psychotic, or psychopaths as it pertains to trying to destroy that person. And they'll go to these games. Some of these guys don't need to work or anything. They probably use their settlements, or lifetime savings or whatever, just to go to NBA games or NFL games or NHL games or MLB games, just to do stuff, just to fuck with some of these guys. And y'all don't see it from that aspect. Some of these guys, some of these people don't have nothing else better to do than to just fuck with the person that's playing, that pretty much is trying to um make a living for themselves too. But see, y'all see these guys, yeah, all y'all see is, oh man, well Kyrie should do this, or Kyrie should do that, or LeBron should do this, or LeBron should do that. Look, if you don't like LeBron, hey, that's on you. Like, that's your personal problem. Look, if you don't like, man, if you don't like Jordan, or if you didn't like Jordan, or if you didn't like any of these other players, that's on you. But you don't have to make it bad for that guy, and then pulling the guy's wife into it and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That shows what type of morals that you were raised with, and you don't have it. But see, when the shoe is on the other foot, my last point, when the shoe is on the other foot and the joke's on you, you don't like that shit. Such as, Stephen A. Smith. Look, I didn't want him to get sick or none of that other shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish none of this shit on my worst enemy. All the stuff that's going on right now in terms of, the boogeyman and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna say, well, it was karma or anything like that. All right, look, I'm not gonna go there. However, you know, when you have your life flashing before your eyes and stuff like that, you start thinking about certain things. Maybe he had thought about, okay, well, shoot, maybe I shouldn't have been talking about, Kwame Brown the way that I talked about him. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I shouldn't have talked about, Kevin Durant the way that I talked about him. Or maybe I shouldn't be talking about Kyrie the way that I'm talking about him now. And Stephen A's not the only person. You know, there's other guys up in there, man. That's that want to try to make uh that particular guy a target so that they can ride that wave and use ratings and stuff like that, man. That's your whole mo. Your whole A lot of these guys' whole mo when some of these guys were glad Kyrie came back so that they can make him the truly the boogeyman. That's what they wanted to do. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notification. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I will get at you later.